just had a question about the cost and the statements that I'm hearing that the labor is what drives up the cost so much. Why is the labor so disproportionate between Sunstar and firefighters?
I guess I'll say this to you as a non-firefighter is if you're going to run into a burning building, then there should be a pension at the end of the road. And so for our firefighter paramedics, their salary range is $50,000 to $60,000. They work 24-hour shifts, a shift on and then 2 shifts off. It's a 56-hour work week. Their benefit cost is primarily driven by pension. And I guess if you run into a burning building, there's probably something that's compensatory at the end of that. For our ambulance paramedics, very much different situation. Is not nearly as risky. They're typically a younger workforce, so our pay range there is $40,000 to $50,000 in terms of salary, and it costs us a lot less for benefits because we use a 401k type of matching arrangement. And the way that works then is it's expensed in the year given, and we're not adopting those employees going forward into the future. So part of the concern is if you add additional employees with a pension, even if they're not firefighters, if they're government-hired paramedics, they would have a special risk pension. And then that that you're having that future cost over the years in order to make sure that those funds pay them out a defined benefit rather than with a 401k, they've got to have the investment risk on their own.
How do you keep it from becoming unionized?
Right. Actually, it's unionized for the ambulance service currently, and I believe there's about 12 unions across the county for the fire service. So it's really a little bit less about unions and more about how you have a defined benefit structure. So if you have a defined benefit, you've got to fund that and make sure that those investments keep up to pay that pension. Versus a 401k, you're taking that on, and that's your personal risk whether or not you invest your money well.
None of the fire districts are all pension-based salaries?
All
There's none that,
pension-based.
you couldn't have a fire district that used a 401k instead of a pension?
You're starting to see that in some communities, but very rarely, and none in Pinellas County that I'm aware of.
If I could just comment a little bit, just more, Craig touched on it, and again, no bad reflection on Sunstar. Many of the fire organizations, when you look at average cost and benefit, is a longer term. Some of them, my paramedics that Craig pays for at 25 years. And there are folks at Sunstar with 25 years, but a lot of their workforce is younger. And as you go through steps in salary, generally, there is some kind of increase as you get years of experience. So that equates a little bit there as well to some of the dynamics there as to why that money's a little bit different.
I can give you a statistic there is Sunstar has an average of a 6-year tenure, and fire rescue countywide for all 18 fire departments is a 12-year average tenure. So that goes to the chief's point.
Is that one of the things too?
And again, part of what makes this complicated is you saw there's such a variation even between the 18 different fire departments where you really have the high of 134,000 paying benefits in St. Petersburg to the low of 80,000, I think it's 80,000 in Treasure Island. So you have a wide disparity there, and a lot of it is in the benefit area as well. So that just kind of complicates it.
Well, I think that we've got a lot to think about, a lot to talk about. We have one gentleman back here. If you'd like to just make a quick comment, thank you.
Okay, we're in Hurricane Alley here, and I'm just wondering what the contingency of Sunstar and the EMTs and the fire departments are in the county right now, and what we would do. Would Sunstar take out transport the invalids out of the county, or what would their function be doing? What would your function be doing in case we had a hurricane, a major force 5 hurricane? Thank you.
The Emergency Operations Center is operated by the county. We have desk officers that help coordinate with all the fire agencies and with Sunstar. We follow what's called the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan, and And so nursing homes, they'll send to sister facilities that are in non-evacuation areas. We'll move them by bus or by ambulance. For citizens, they're assisted by fire departments and go to public shelters or special needs shelters. So if they have a medical condition, we staff 3 shelters, typically North, Mid, and South County, that handle the medical needs, have nurses and paramedics stationed at the shelter. And then we ride out the storm and then recover together to try to get the medical needs met and patients back to where they came from, either nursing home or even some hospitals evacuate in the larger scale storms.
Well, thank you very much. And I think that, 4:30, we usually try to end by 4:30. And it's been a fantastic afternoon. Really appreciate everyone coming out. I think that, the unintended consequences sometimes of all the best intentions, I sound like nothing but a bunch of cliches, but I just keep thinking while I'm hearing all of this of all the unintended consequences that can occur. I think it's been said so well a couple of times by different ones about, how we don't want to mess up a system that is very dependable, it's very good, through really just grabs. I mean, I think we have to be so careful to just tweak and to be very careful about what we're doing. I will tell you that this EMS committee that has been established, as I understand it, is supposed to agree to contracting with an independent national accounting firm. Am I correct on that?
Correct.
That they agree to, and that accounting firm is going to crunch these numbers that sped by us, and I don't mean that they were speedy, but just it was like, whoa, there's a lot of numbers there, so that they are proofed. I will say once again that personally I really am feeling very strong about this 4.5 minutes not being a factor. It should not be a factor, I don't feel, in the calculation of these numbers, because as we were talking about last night, and I said to you, I'm in the insurance business, and an insurance premium is derived by certain assumptions. And, how many people out of 1,000 are going to do this and get this disease, and of that, how long are they going to live, and how much care. And when you make an assumption, and you tweak that assumption from 7.5 minutes to 4.5 minutes, it could double the cost. So the standard that was on the slide was what I always thought it was, which is 7.5 minutes. And I personally, and I can't speak for the group, I'm just bringing this up because I think that it's critical that Senator LaBala not allow a 4.5 minute number to be injected into this calculation, because we can't afford it. Some insurance premiums you can't afford, and they got to take sinkhole coverage out. I mean, it's just certain things that happen that you find out you can't afford. So I'll leave it at that, and a big round of applause for everybody.